Hello and welcome back to the Houston Texans franchise. Today we're going to be taking on the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football in the last regular season game of the year. There are still a lot of things to be decided in this last week. The NFC only has one division winner and 3 playoff teams decided so far. The AFC does have a bit more clarity. We at least know 2 division winners. The Texans have won the AFC South. The Bills have won the AFC East. The AFC North is going to come down to a game here in the last week. The Browns play the Bengals. The winner wins the division. If the Browns actually beat the Bengals, the Browns are the 1 seed regardless of what we do. But if the Bengals beat the Browns and we beat the Ravens, then the Texans are the 1 seed. The Jets, Titans, Chargers, and Broncos are all competing for 2 wildcard spots. The Chiefs have not locked up their division yet. The Broncos can somehow still win it, but it's not very likely. It involves some weird tiebreakers. So the Chiefs pretty much won the AFC West. Here's a look at the current playoff bracket, but a lot of this is probably going to change here in the last week. Focusing on the Texans now, we are coming off a win last week over top of the Colts 26-17. We were finally able to end that losing streak and stop it at 3. But in that game against the Colts, Dwight Devine got off to another slow start, and we benched him. We pulled him for Davis Mills. He was able to lead us right down the field to a touchdown and eventually the win. After the game, I asked you all to tell me what you think we should do at quarterback. And everyone said to stick with Dwight Devine, and I agree. He is not only going to be our quarterback for this game, but he is going to be our quarterback for the postseason. He needs to have a fair shot to prove that he can be our franchise quarterback. He was the Rookie of the Year last year, and we drafted him for a reason. But we're going to be on defense first, so let's talk about the Ravens a little bit. They have moved on from Lamar Jackson, and now have Drew Lock at quarterback. And obviously, he has not led to wins this season, but I don't think that's on Drew Lock entirely. He hasn't been awful. They have a gain of 5 on first down. 2nd and 5, Locke is going to take a deep shot down the field. 1-on-1 for Hollywood Brown, broken up by Roman Davis. Not too surprised to see a deep shot from the 5-11 Ravens, as there's a sack on 3rd down. That is Martin Boyce, bringing him down for a huge loss. It's a quick 3-and-out for Baltimore. The Texans will take over. Here are Dwight Devine's stats this season. He should get to 4,000 yards with 1 completion. Great starting field position up at the 46. The read option keeper for Devine. He's across midfield with a ton of space, and he's going to go to bounds up at the 23. Already near the red zone on just 1 play. That is one thing that he has over top of Davis Mills, is that explosive speed, as Willis gets a carry and a gain of 2. Now 3rd and 9, an empty look. Devine firing right side, 1-on-1 off the hands of Byron Mitchell, incomplete. It looked like a great throw from Devine, but Mitchell just dropped it. And that's exactly what happened. So we have to settle for a field goal here on the first drive, but we will take that. We'll take an early 3-0 lead. The Ravens back on offense. They're going to run it with J.K. Dobbins, and he's dropped in the backfield. Ross Blacklock making the stop. Hopefully the defense can also get some momentum here in this last game. They have not been great this season. 3rd and 12, Locke going over the middle. He hits Hollywood Brown. He has a first down and is up to the 38. So a new set of downs for the Ravens. Locke has time, but it is running out, and he's going to be sacked again. Back at the 24, this time by Andrew Van Ginkel. It's a loss of 13. 2nd and 23. Locke has time on this one, but it's running out again, and he's going to lob it right side over the head of Hollywood Brown, incomplete. 3rd and 23. All day for Locke. Still sitting there. He's going left side. It's bouncing around and incomplete. It's going to be another punt for Baltimore. The Texans start up at their 37. Hands off on a counter play to James White, and he's going to take it across midfield. Up to the Baltimore 49, a gain of 14. Willis in the backfield. They're going to fake it to him. Devine booting out right. Looking down the field as a man wide open. That's Devontae Adams. He's inside the 30 and going inside. And he's brought down at the 23. Nice completion for Dwight Devine. Handoff left side to Willis. He breaks a tackle and powers ahead inside the 20 and down at the 18. 2nd and 4. A read option keeper for Devine again. Trying to bounce it outside. He makes a man miss and somehow stays in bounds and gets the first down going out at the 12. The hands off to Willis. He's going to fall ahead down inside the 5, down at the 4. 2nd and 3. Leonard Fournette at the back. He's getting a carry, trying to cut outside, and he's into the end zone. And the Texans will go out in front by 10 here in the first quarter. The Ravens on offense, under 3 minutes to go in the first. Really haven't done much. There's pressure coming on the way again, and Locke has to throw it away. 3rd and 10. Locke has time on this one. Gonna throw it left side and off the hands of Dobbins, incomplete. It's gonna be another punt for the Ravens. Lock just 2 of 9 in this one. The defense doing a good job so far. Behind the Texans take over at the 36. Here's Joe Scott. Made a catch and taking it up to the 47. 2nd and 10. Vine surveying. We'll take a check down pass to Willis on the left side. A gain of 3. 3rd and 7. All day for Devine. Time is starting to run out, and he's going to find Claypool across midfield up to the 27 of Baltimore. 2nd and 9. Play action fake to James White. A screen pass to Adams, and he's stopped in the backfield, losing a yard. Last play here, the first quarter. 3rd and 10. Devine swinging out right side for Willis. He has some space and gets the first down and is up to the 11. Devine 6 of 8 in that first quarter. So you can follow it up with a good second quarter. Going over the middle, caught by Adams, and he's into the end zone. And 17 will put the Texans up 17-0 here in the first half. The Ravens really need to get something going on this drive. A play action fake to Dobbins. Lock going downfield. He hits Rashad Bateman, and he's across midfield to the Houston 47, a gain of 28. Lock now 3 of 10. It's time in the pocket on this one, but time is running out, and he's going down. Sacked by Ross Blacklock this time, all the way back at the 41. Loss of 12. 2nd and 22. Screen pass left side to Brown, and he's going down in the backfield, losing a bunch of yards. 3rd and 29. What do they have in the playbook on this one? Lock drifting left, pressure on its way, and he goes down again. Sacked by Adam Weiner this time. 4th and 42. They definitely have to punt it away, and the Texans will take over at their 44. The hands off to Willis. He has a gain of 1. 2nd and 9. Play action fake. Devine going over the middle, and he hits Joe Scott in stride, and he's up to the 26. Make Devine 8 of 10 in this one. 2nd and 10. Read option. Devine keeping it, and he's going to slide down, a gain of just 3. Unfortunately, here on 3rd down, this play would glitch out in the regular recording, but on the replay you see, yep, he threw an interception. Didn't put enough touch on it to get that one to Devontae Adams. It would have been a touchdown had he put enough touch on it. So the Ravens take over at the 11. We'll throw on the right side here to Sammy Watkins, and he's up to the 16. 2nd and 5. The Ravens go to an empty look. Lock has time, lobbing right side, caught by Andrews, and he steps out of bounds at the 20. 3rd and inches. A hands off to J.K. Dobbins up the middle, and he has some space and has the first down up to the 30. Only his 2nd rush attempt of the game. Here's his 3rd. He's juking backwards and going down in the backfield, losing a yard. 2nd and 11. Play action fake to Dobbins. Lock. Pressure on its way again, and he goes down, sacked by Adam Weiner for the 2nd time in this first half. Bringing up 3rd and long. 3rd and 17. He has plenty of time. He's going to chuck it deep down the right side of the field. Swatted away by Michael Barr, and it is 4th down. And the Ravens have to punt it away again. Texans take over up at the 48. Here's a screen pass on the right side to Cole Beasley, and he's across midfield with a gain of 3. 3rd and 6. Devine going right side, off the hands of Nico Collins, incomplete. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. The Texans punt it away. The Ravens would go 3 and out again. So Houston gets possession right back. Throw on the left side to Cole Beasley. He's across midfield, back to the 49. 2nd and 10, a minute 13 left. Devine booting out right. And he's going to take off, it looks like. He will have the first down and step out of bounds at the 35. So new side downs for Houston. Trying to set up a screen pass on the left side. There is Willis. He has some space and gets the first down. Going out of bounds at the 18 with a minute left. Houston still has 2 timeouts remaining. A free rusher coming to the right side, and down goes Dwight Devine. And Addison Milton is injured on the play. So nothing going right for Houston on that one. 2nd and 19. Devine. Pressure on the backside this time. Takes a check down to White. And he's back up to the 17. Time winding down. Now just 14 seconds left. Devine going to the end zone. Caught by Nico Collins. But they say he was out of bounds. We see that Middleton is going to be fine. That play would go to review, and it's a touchdown. Nico Collins got his feet down in bounds in time and had possession. So the Texans score another touchdown, and that's going to be our score here at halftime. The Texans leading this one 24-0 over top of the Ravens. Looking around at the scores here around the league, the Browns defeated the Bengals, so the Browns will be the 1 seed, and our game does not have a whole lot of meaning left in it, but we still want to see Dwight Devine perform well here, at least for another drive or two. Let's jump ahead a little bit in the 3rd quarter. You can see under 6.5 to go in it. Here's Willis on the left side up to the 34. Now a handoff to Tariq Cohen. Cutting back middle. He has a first down up to the 47. Willis back in the game. They fake it to him. Devine, plenty of time. Swinging back left side for Willis. He has the first down. Spin move out of bounds and made Elliott look silly there. Up at the 29. 5 minutes to go in the third. Devine has a man wide open. That is Byron Mitchell inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 3. It's goal to go for the Texans. First and goal. Only a 3-man rush. Devine, plenty of time. Booting out right. And he can walk into the end zone and put the Texans up 31-0 here in the third quarter. With the Browns already having the 1 seed locked up and the score out of hand here, a lot of backups are entering the game, and one of them is going to get a sack here. That is Sergio Fulton, dropping Locke back at the 6. 3rd and 18. Drew Lock, what do you have on this down? He's in his own end zone, taking a deep shot on the left side for Hollywood Brown, and he's got him. He's going to be brought down at the Houston 30. He just burned Roman Davis for a huge gain. The Texans are keeping their 2 young starting cornerbacks out there. They really need some work and need to develop a bit more. In a 5-on first down by Dobbins. Now 3rd and 6. Locke has time. He's going to go left side underneath to J.K. Dobbins, and he's brought down by Roman Davis short of the line to gain. It's 4th down, and they're going to kick a field goal to try to avoid the shutout. Here comes Flowers off the edge, and he nearly blocks it to preserve the shutout, but he cannot get it done. So it's 31-3, and we see that Philbin, the 3rd-string quarterback, is out there. They don't even want to put Mills in. Why not give Philbin some time out there? He hits Nico Collins, who bounces it outside and has a gain of 28 and takes it to the Baltimore 43. A nice first pass for Philbin here in the NFL. Hands off to Tariq Cohen, and he's up to the 33, ending the third quarter. 2nd inches to start the 4th. Philbin lobbing right side, caught by Joe Scott. What a dime by Philbin on that one. So into the red zone the Texans go. A play action fake on 2nd and 10. Philbin moving left, and he's going to be sacked by McQueen. And yes, he is wearing Ray Lewis's old number. 4th and 21 after an incomplete pass. Fairbairn's going to come on and kick a field goal, and the Texans will go up 34-3. 3rd and 10 from their own 25. Locke is going to take a deep shot down the left side of the field again for Hollywood Brown, and it's off his hand, incomplete. Roman Davis in coverage. 4th and 10, the Ravens are going to go for it. Why not? They're already going to finish with a losing record anyway. Locke down the right side, off the hand of Bateman, incomplete. Michael Barr in coverage that time, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Texans take over at the Baltimore 24, throwing the left side. Caught by Dillon, gain of a couple. 3rd and 3. A hands off left side to Dunn. And he's actually going to be brought down in the backfield, losing a yard. So it's 4th down. They're going to go for it, though. Why not? Get the backups some extra work. All day for Philbin. He's going over the middle. He hits Joe Scott, and he's going to rip away from a couple of defenders. And he's into the end zone, extending this Houston lead. What a great effort from Joe Scott in a blowout. Also a great throw by Philbin. He had to fit this over top of the linebacker and in front of the safety. Can't do much better than that. So the Texans up 41-3. Here late in the 4th quarter. Watkins making a catch, and he's up to the 34. 2nd and 1. Locke going over the middle. It's intercepted by Jacoby Stevens, and there's nobody in front of him. This is going to be a pick 6 as the Texans run up the score 48-3, and that's actually going to be your ball game. The Texans are going to win this one in blowout fashion over the Baltimore Ravens. Looking back at the stats in this one, starting with the defense, it couldn't have played much better in this one, really. Just that one long deep ball that they hit to Hollywood Brown. We had a consistent pass rush. The coverage was pretty good for the most part. A couple of lapses, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, Drew Lock had just a 47% completion percentage. He got sacked a bunch of times, had no touchdowns. The rush defense was also really good. Really just that one deep ball that Hollywood Brown caught, and I'm not really going to fault Roman Davis for it. It wasn't that bad of coverage. I mean, Hollywood Brown is a burner on the outside. As for the offense, I thought Dwight Devine played pretty well. That one interception was kind of bad. He did not have enough touch on it, but still, it wasn't a bad effort from him today. I know the Ravens weren't really trying, but still, a pretty good effort from Devine. He also ran for 64 yards and was our leading rusher. How about Philbin, though? 4 of 5 for an 80% completion percentage, 74 yards in that touchdown. Made a couple of great throws and really impressed me. And as for the receivers, Joe Scott, of course, he carried us yet again. He's been a fantastic player for us all season long. We have some upgrades to go through here. Adrian Thurston, he was able to get on the field and get a sack in that one. think he's going to be a valuable piece to our defensive line rotation here in the future. Jacoby Stevens, he was able to get that interception and return it for a touchdown. I think his future is also really bright. He should be on the field even more next season and probably even more in this postseason. Sergio Fulton is another player that came through with an opportunity in this last week, getting a sack, and he has an upgrade, so let's go ahead and get his power moves up by 2. That's a great upgrade. But with all that done, I think it is time to do a roster roundup and just go over all the season stats and talk about the futures for some of the players on our team. We've talked enough about Dwight Devine, but let's talk about the other quarterbacks on our team. Davis Mills, if he is not going to be our starting quarterback, I think it is time to move on from him and trade him this offseason no matter what, because if he's not going to be our starter and he's on the last year of his contract, we might as well get some value for him. We already have the future backup on the team, I believe, in Philbin. He played pretty well in this last week, even with a -5 to his morale and his ratings really being hit hard by them. And I think he played really well with those ratings lost, and I think he deserves a chance to be the backup. Damian Willis, he did not have as many touchdowns as he did a year ago, but the other stats are all improved across the board, and he really took a step forward, I believe, in the receiving game. And I think with more opportunities and a better offensive line, he really should flourish. And I believe he is probably the workhorse back we were looking for when we first started this franchise a couple of seasons ago. And I really like Damian Willis, and I'm glad we have him on our team. As for James White, he obviously was not the true backup running back this season, but his stats are not that bad, and he did contribute about the same as he did in his first year with us in the receiving game. I don't know if he's going to be back next season, but I like having him on the roster, so I guess we'll see what he wants in the offseason. As for Leonard Fournette, he is under contract for a couple of more seasons. He was okay as the backup, not great. I don't exactly know what I want to do with him moving forward, because I really like Justin Dunn. He obviously did not have the great stats, but a lot of his opportunities came late in games when the other team knew he were going to be running the ball, so it's not really something to hold against him. And I like a lot of his ratings, so I think he deserves a bigger role moving forward. Joe Scott led the team in receptions, yards. As a rookie, I mean, he played fantastic, and he really should be one of the top options on our team moving forward. The other top option, I mean, that's obvious. That's Devontae Adams. He led the team in touchdowns. He did take a step back in pretty much everything else, though. And not really his fault, though. The weapons around him were not good enough that he was getting double teamed way too often. And it just made it really hard to get him the ball at times. Chase Claypool, we already signed him to a contract extension, but it's a movable one, to be honest. So we could trade him this offseason if we find a better fit with somebody else there in that second receiver role. It's not too bad, though, I guess. Byron Mitchell, as a rookie, he was pretty fantastic at times, but it wasn't consistent at all. Some games you'd bust off and have like 150 yards, and then you would have like one catch for 6 yards. Not that it's entirely his fault. Devine had those games kind of too where he was just off. One guy who was a disappointment this year, that was Cole Beasley. We signed him to a 2-year deal. Hopefully he retires, to be honest. Otherwise, we might end up cutting him and moving on from him. And I just don't think he's really worth having on the roster. Nico Collins is a player that has seen his role diminish every single season, but I like having him on the roster. He's a good extra receiver to have. And if we send him to another team, I don't think we would get a ton of value for him. So I just want to keep him on the end of the roster. Ezekiel Mills ended up leading the team in tackles with 120, but the coverage for him I thought would be a little better. It just wasn't exactly great, but not entirely his fault. I think some of the defenders around him just didn't really play well, and it kind of resulted in him trying to do too much. Ross Blacklock has really been a player that we've kind of built the defense around, and he has really developed over a couple of seasons, leading the NFL in tackles for loss this year. Going to see. One player we're going to move on from is Donta Hightower. I just don't see a role for him moving forward, and I kind of like the other linebackers on the roster more, so I think it's time to move on from him. As for our two edge rushers, Adam Weiner and Andrew Van Ginkel, they had identical seasons. I really think that Adam Weiner could be a top-tier edge rusher in this league eventually, especially now that he is superstar dev. But Andrew Van Ginkel, we could look to trade him this offseason and acquire somebody even better, get a top-tier edge rusher, or we could keep him on the roster and make him a rotational piece. Either way, I kind of want to acquire a top-tier edge rusher. The two young corners, they still need some time to develop. They really just had a down season. Well, Michael Barr did. I thought he played better in his rookie year. Didn't play as well this year. As for special teams, Fairbairn, he's on the last year of his contract, and he is going to be 30, so it might be time to move on from him. But for our punter, Don Booth, I want to keep him around. He is a 2-time Pro Bowler, so we're going to try anything we can to extend him. That's enough about our team for now, though we still have a playoff run to focus on. So let's talk about some of the stat leaders here around the league. Lamar Jackson tops the charts for passing yards. Josh Allen leads for passing touchdowns. Unfortunately, Dwight Devine ended up finishing with the most interceptions thrown. Baker Mayfield is the leader for pass completion percentage at 71%. No surprise, though, that Nick Chubb is at the top for rush attempts and yards. There is a reason that the Browns had the #1 seed in the AFC. As for yards per carry, Dwight Devine actually leads at 9.2. The only thing you got to worry about for him on the rushing is the fumbles. Nick Chubb and Najee Harris tied for touchdowns rushing. Under the receiving leaders, Corey Davis with 126 receptions, and he also leads in receiving yards. What a season for him. Mike Gesicki ended up leading in receiving touchdowns. How about Eric Hauser in his second season in second place there for receiving touchdowns? Under the defensive side of the ball, we got to split this up AFC, NFC. Tremaine Edmonds ended up leading in tackles. Tackles for loss, I mentioned it earlier. That is Ross Blacklock. He ended up finishing in second place for sacks, unfortunately. Myles Garrett led with 19.5. Ross Blacklock did, however, lead in forced fumbles. He actually led the entire NFL with 4. Roman Davis did end up leading the entire NFL in defensive touchdowns with 2. So I guess that's pretty cool for a rookie. Under the NFC, Deion Jones leads in tackles. Aaron Donald, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Chase Young all tied for the sack lead at 16.5. But I think that is enough about stats. It's time to take a look and see who made the postseason. The Browns, of course, won the AFC North and will be the 1 seed. The Bengals do make the postseason as a wild card. We, of course, won the AFC South. The Titans miss out on the postseason despite going 10-7 and winning their last 3 games. The Bills win their division at 11-6. The Jets miss out at 10-7. So that means that the Chargers and Broncos will both be in as wild card teams. The Chiefs win their division despite losing their last 2 games. For the NFC, the Bears win their division at 10-7. They actually won their last 7 games. An incredible end of the season for the Chicago Bears. The Panthers and Buccaneers both make the postseason with the Panthers winning their division. The Vikings also make it as a wild card team. I forgot to mention that. The Giants, of course, win the NFC East and have the best record in the NFC. The Cowboys make it as a wild card team. The 49ers win the NFC West at 8-9. So we have a losing record team in the postseason. Here's an overall look at the bracket. Yes, we will take on the Los Angeles Chargers. And man, the AFC is going to be a bloodbath. There are so many good teams in the AFC. The NFC is okay, but the AFC is on a whole nother level. So I think it's time to talk about the Chargers. The Chargers this season went 10-7. They have a top 10 offense in points per game and the number 24 defense in points per game allowed. Last week, Justin Herbert threw 67 times for 448 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is not something you want to see, especially against our defense. He probably do about the same, to be honest. Hopefully, our offense can put up just as good as stats. It's going to be tough to stop Justin Herbert in this offense. They are loaded with talent. They still have Austin Eckler at running back. He had 17 touchdowns, over 300 carries. He's really the only running back that is probably going to see the field. A receiver, they still have Keenan Allen going strong. Traquan Smith is pretty solid, and Mike Williams is still there. Then you add in Irv Smith Jr. at tight end and Austin Eckler out of the backfield. They're loaded on offense. The defense actually might be even better, though. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney and Dee Ford, Marvin Manning, and then you have Joey Bosa. Their defensive front is insanely good, but their secondary is also pretty solid. They still have Derwin James, who's a 99 overall, Carlton Davis III at corner, Asante Samuel Jr. The defense might be better than the offense, and that's saying something with how good that offense looks. So defensively, we're going to try to keep everything in front of us and stop the deep ball and hope that Justin Herbert makes a couple mistakes and we can pull a win out that way. As for the offense, I think we kind of have to run the ball a bunch and try to keep Justin Herbert and their offense off the field and try to tire out their defense. It's not going to be an easy game at all. I don't know how this team is a 7 seed after looking at all of their players. Yeah, just probably the best 7 seed in the history of the NFL. It's only been around for a couple of seasons, I guess, here in our franchise. A couple of upgrades here. Ross Blacklock, of course, we're going to go power rusher. Maybe you can get some extra sacks because of this. And in the postseason, you need to be able to get to the quarterback and hope that your big-time players make big-time plays. Andrew Van Ginkel, we're going to go speed rusher, same thing. We need our pass rush to really try to carry us because our secondary is still really young and has not played well this season. And I don't think we match up too well with the Chargers. You remember we played them back a season ago on Monday Night Football to open the season, and we lost that game. So hopefully this time around we can get the best of the Chargers in the postseason. Thanks for watching this one, and I will see you next time with the wild card round.